So good morning, you guys. Sorry, we're running just a couple of minutes late. I was looking for a timepiece because I forgot mine this morning. So Carrie went and got us a clock. So how are you all doing? Good? How's everybody at home? Thumbs up? Thumbs down?
Oh, good. Up.
Two people thumbs down. Okay. Oh, all right. Well, hopefully we're thumbs up after the program. That's what's most important, right? Okay, so why don't y'all come up to the front of your chair and bring your feet right underneath your knees. Let your hands rest on your lap or on your legs. And then just notice your posture. Are you like leaning forward in your chair? Are you leaning back? Are you sitting more on one side than the other? See if you can find kind of that center space. So your shoulders, if you could kind of look at yourself from the side, your shoulders are lined up right on top of your hips. And for most of us, that's going to mean leaning back a little more than what is customary for us. And then let your head sort of float above your shoulders. So I like to imagine my head is like a water balloon, and it's just sort of got this nice liquid kind of consistency to it. So it's just kind of resting here. Now that you've got all of those things kind of lined up, close your eyes and bring your attention to your breath. You don't have to change anything about how you're breathing right now, but just notice how the air is moving in and out of your body. Is the breath fast or slow this morning? Is it shallow or deep? Is there a sound to the breath? And what's the temperature of the air that you breathe in compared to the temperature of the air that you breathe out? And in our masks, it's a little bit more challenging. There might not be a big temperature difference, but without our masks on, if you're unmasked at home, you can likely feel a difference between the inhaled breath and the exhaled breath in terms of temperature. And now allow your breath to deepen. As you breathe in, let your belly expand like a balloon. Let your rib cage expand. Let your chest expand. And as you breathe out, let all of those areas gently contract. So again, breathing in, there's this expansion in the belly and the rib cage, the chest. And breathing out, there's this gentle contraction in the belly, the rib cage, and the chest. If you don't feel that expansion come all the way up to the chest, take a little longer, be a little more intentional with your breathing. See if you can create that expansion by extending the inhalation a little bit more, a little bit longer. Breathing in and breathing out with intention, long, slow, deep breath. And as you continue with this long, slow, deep breathing, I'm going to ask you to add a mental count to the breath. What I mean by that is on your inhalation, see if you can count in your head to 4, very slow count of 4, like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, very slow count. And on the exhalation, same thing, very slow count to 4. And if this is really challenging, just know that that's okay. If you haven't done a lot of this conscious breathing, it can seem like quite an effort to get the breath to that count of 4, to feel the expansion all the way up into the collarbone, the upper chest area. Again, we're just breathing in to a long, slow count of 4, breathing out to that long, slow count of 4. And with every inhalation, notice if you're holding tension somewhere in your body, even as you're doing this counting. And with every exhalation, make a decision to let go of that tension wherever you find it. Breathing into 4 and out to 4. Continue breathing just a couple minutes longer with the inhalations. Now we're going to count to 6, or extending the inhalations to a count of 6. And keep the exhalations to that count of 4. Breathing into 6 and out to 4. And again, if this is challenging, just know that that's just that you're pushing up against what is normal for you. And now let's see if we can breathe out to a count of 6. So breathing into 6 and out to 6. We just lengthen the inhalations and the exhalations. Once again, the same amount, a little bit longer, a little bit slower. See if you can breathe into 6 and out to 6 just 2 more times. And after your second exhalation to 6, release the control of your breathing and just go back to your natural breath, whatever is normal for you. And simply observe. And let your eyes gently open. Take the hands off the lap and we'll start with the fingers. So we're squeezing and extending the fingers. Did a little bit of this last week. This is warming up the joints, the small joints first. And then we'll do the 3 parts. So do extend your hands like a starfish. So spread your fingers as wide apart as they'll go. And then we're going to go halfway to what I call a bear claw. So it's kind of like a claw position here. And then go into a fist. And then do that starfish and the bear claw and the fist. We're going to go nice and slow between all 3 of these, right? So notice if you're holding your arms up with your jaw or your neck. See if you can relax your jaw and your neck, relax your face. And we're just doing this nice, gentle movement between extending and bending, right? Good. Just a couple more. Last one. Great, and then let's shake that out a little bit. And circle at the wrist. Circling wrist, and this might be noisy, so some people might have a little bit of noise there in the wrist. Go the opposite direction if you've just gone one way, go the other way, or keep switching it up. Whatever feels good. We're conducting a symphony here this way. And then let's take the arms out in front. Keep your hands and wrists a little lower than your shoulders and press out through the heels of your hands. And then point your fingers down and up and down. So if you didn't have noise in the circling, you might have a little noise now. Okay. And then go halfway so that your hands are parallel to the floor along with your arms. And now instead of going up and down, I'm going to drop mine down just so you can see, but keep your arms up a little bit here. So we're just going to go sideways. So little finger side and thumb side. And again, relax your shoulders, your neck, and your jaw. Just pay attention to what's happening in your hands. What's going on there? Are they doing the same thing, or is one hand have a little more range in one than the other. Breathing in, breathing out. Okay, and then let's shake that out as well. All right, extend your arms out in front with your palms up this time, and we're just going to bend and tap the shoulders. And then we're getting a little movement here in the elbows. Breathing in, breathing out. Okay. Great. And the next time you tap your shoulders, we're going to take the elbows out to the side and keep your upper arms parallel to the floor. In other words, don't let them drop way down here. You want to keep them up as high as they'll go. And if they don't go perfectly parallel, that's okay too. We're going to extend and hold here, and then make a light little fist with your hand. And imagine you're holding 5 pounds in each hand, right? So with those 5-pound weights, we're going to slowly bend the elbows as we contract these muscles here. And then as we extend, same thing. Keep contracting those muscles even as you're extending. Good. And I forgot to mention, but we should be breathing the whole time we're doing it. So breathing in, breathing out. You're going to continue that. I'm going to open this door a little bit because I'm starting to cook under these legs. If anybody gets chilly, let me know. So we've got our 5-pound weights. Next time you have your fists into your shoulders, pause here for a moment, and the 5-pound weights are now magically 10-pound weights. So we're going to go down with the elbows, right? So keep the elbows down, and we're going to extend with those 10-pound weights all the way down, 10 pounds. Keep squeezing these muscles right here, all the way up. Breathe in, breathe out. If this doesn't work, this position with your arms doesn't work, if it's too much for your shoulders, just bring the elbows in a little bit. You can go forward, right? So 10 pounds. Everybody got that? Excellent. Okay. Couple more. Great. And the next time that you bring your fists up to your shoulders, you're going to hold here. Good. And now we're going to go right up overhead. Way up overhead. Come all the way down. Bring your fists to your shoulders and squeeze your elbows together back there. We're going to go up and down. Right? So squeeze the elbows back there and press the chest forward when you squeeze the elbows. So we're getting some movement in front of the shoulders. Good. Couple more. Excellent. How about one more set all the way up and down, and then we'll hold in that down position. So here we're going to bring those elbows back quite a bit. Press the chest forward. And now without moving your arms, and I'll turn sideways so you can see, without moving your upper arms like this, we're going to extend and bend at the elbows, right? So when you extend, lift as high as you can, and then keep the elbows lifted as you bend. A little harder. You're working on these muscles right here, your triceps muscles. Those muscles are super important for keeping extension in your arm. Breathing in, breathing out. Everybody's doing great. How about one more time? Extending and bending, and let's finish on an extension. So we're going to extend here. Now relax your fists and let your fingers extend. And then we're going to do a little bit of flying back here. So kind of pulse your wings. Keep them back behind you. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Let your chest come forward. Relax your neck, right? So if your neck is kind of extended like this, you can relax your neck a little bit. 2 more. And then relax and let your arms come all the way down. Let your hands hang down by your side. Feel how heavy your arms are. Ooh. Okay, let's take that right arm now and start to circle it up and around. Okay, you can put your left hand wherever you'd like. I'm just going to have mine on my lap because that feels good. And we're just circling this arm up and around. And let's twist the body now. So as we come forward, twist to the left, and as we come back, twist to the right. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay. Couple more going in whatever direction you started. And the next time that your arm is down toward the floor, reverse direction. So if you were sweeping forward before, now you're sweeping backward. And if you were sweeping backward to start, now you're sweeping forward. Keep breathing in and breathing out. Next time your arm gets to shoulder height, we're going to hold here, and then we're going to turn the palm up and go all the way out to the right. Twist your body. Go as far around as you can, and then turn your palm down and come all the way over to the left. So we're twisting the body from the waist. So you don't want to be sliding on your seat. So in other words, your sitting bones are nice and stationary, but it's your waist and your ribs. Oh my goodness. That's a good twist this morning. Good twist for a Friday, beautiful Friday morning. And a couple more. Excellent. And we'll finish with the arm behind us. We'll finish in extension. So as we hold the arm behind us, look out behind you as far as you can. Breathe in, breathe out. Sitting up nice and tall in your seat. Turn your head as far around as it'll go. Breathing in, breathing out. And then turn your palm down, come all the way back around. Let both arms hang down by your sides. Close your eyes for a moment and notice how much longer your right arm is than your left. Wow. You can open your eyes, let your hands rest. Here we're going to take that left arm and same thing. So just start to sweep it up and around. Doesn't matter which direction. We'll get to both of them. Breathing in and breathing out. Notice if this side is different than the other. So oftentimes we have issues in the shoulder, neck, elbow, arm that kind of makes the range of movement a little bit different. Start to twist your whole body. So as you come forward, you're twisting to the right, and as you go backward, you're twisting to the left. Just a sort of a natural rhythm. And you're twisting from your waist all the way. Good. Okay, and the next time your arm is down toward the floor, we're going to switch directions. So just go around the other way. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. And a couple more of these. Okay, and the next time your arm is at shoulder height in front, we're going to hold it here, turn your palm up, and we're going to go all the way around to the left and back and twist in your seat, and then turn your palm down, and we're going to come across the body over to the right. So it's that same movement we did on the other side, breathing in as you come back, breathing out as you come forward. That just goes with the natural movement of your body. So as you come back, you're opening up through the chest and the underarm, so it's easier to get a breath in when your arm is behind you than when your arm is in front of you. And the next time that your arm is back behind you, you're going to stay there and breathe and turn your head as far as it'll go, looking out over that back arm, twisting a little more, making sure your spine is nice and tall. Breathing in, breathing out. And then turn your palm down, and we're going to twist all the way back around. Good. Let's lower both arms down by the side. Close your eyes. And hopefully it feels now like your right and left arms are just staying away. Just notice what that feels like. Take a breath in, let it out with a sigh, and open your eyes. Ah. All right, let's give those hands and arms and shoulders a little bit of a rest, and we'll move to the lower body. So get your right leg extended, heel on the floor, and we're going to squeeze and extend the toes. So in my shoe, that's what I'm doing. So in the shoe, a little bit harder to get that full range, but you kind of get the gist. And in here at the center, most of us keep our shoes on, some don't, and it's okay too. Maybe folks at home, if you've got your shoes off, just really go for it by extending and then bending. And now let's do the whole foot. So we'll point and flex the whole foot. Ankle is working. Notice if your posture is a little bit rounded. See if you can sit up nice and tall. Pull the belly in. So the belly actually gives you some support for your back. And the next time your heel is up off the floor, let's circle at the ankle. If this is a little too much to hold your leg up, you can do this with your foot on the floor as well. So we're just really trying to get some movement in that ankle and reverse direction. It's good to go forward and backward, whatever that means. And then place the heel on the floor. And now let's take the hands right alongside the hips. So this just gives us sort of that cue to keep the body upright, because this movement is a little harder for the spine to keep us upright. So we're just going to bend the knee and extend the knee, right? So bending and extending. Now again, I didn't mention this with the ankle, but joints can sometimes be noisy. So if you have a little noise in here, it's not a problem. Generally, noise without pain is fine. It's only if we have pain when we have noise that there might be an issue. And the next time that you bend your knee, you're going to bring your foot to the floor. So you're like extending the bottom of your foot and your toes, and then wiggle or slide that back as far as it'll go. Go back as far as it'll go. And then press your heel down toward the floor, and then lift up a little bit. Pressing down and lifting. So that's the whole part of this movement. Breathing in, breathing out as you press your heel to the floor, and then relax it a little bit. Now, once again, with a shoe on, you don't get as much benefit in the toes, but with your shoe off, you can really feel that in the bottom of your foot and your toes. Next time you press your heel toward the floor, let's hold it there and sit up nice and tall. Breathe in, breathe out. So pressing that heel toward the floor, holding it. Now take your right hand off the chair, reach it up overhead. So you're lifting up through your fingers, get really tall through this right side of the body. Keep pressing your heel toward the floor. Breathe in, breathe out. And then we're going to lean into that left side. And come all the way up and reach up, up, up. Breathing in, breathing out. And we're going to lean into that left side. Now, if your arm doesn't get all the way up overhead, that's okay. Just lift as high as you can. You know, if this is it, that's it. You're doing what you can do on that side, and that's the most important thing, right? So one more time, we're going to come up and lean, and you're still pressing your heel toward the floor. Great, and then let's lower that arm all the way back down. Let's relax that pressing of the heel. Just relax that leg and hold the leg there for just another moment or two. Good. And then you can take that leg, let's extend it out, have your heel on the floor, and we're just going to go side to side with that foot and the leg. So we're twisting, rotating the whole leg from the hip way up here, all the way down. So when you look at your foot, it's like a big windshield wiper. It's just going back and forth like this. Okay. Next time your toes are straight up, hold there. Press out through your heel. Get that leg as long as you can. Pull the toes rather toward the shin, just like you're trying to pull those toes in toward the shin. If you would like, place your hands on the chair, lift up through the spine, pull the belly in. We're going to lift and lower that heel. Now try to lift and lower your heel without letting your body flex, right? So if I lift my heel and my body flexes, that's what this looks like. And this is a gross exaggeration, right? But what I'm really trying to do is keep the body nice and upright and lift the heel and lower the heel. And oh, by the way, breathe. Yeah. Okay, next time you lift the heel, pause here for a moment. And we're just going to rotate the leg in and out, the whole leg from way up here in the hip. This is really challenging. So we're just going to do a few of these. Really challenging. Okay, how about one more? In and out. Okay, and then lower that leg. Whew, relax that leg, bend it. Give that leg a little bit of a massage. You can go all the way down to the calf and the ankle, come up to that poor knee and the hip. Give everything a little bit of consideration there. Okay, so let's take that left leg now. We're going to do the same thing. Extend with the heel on the floor and starting with the toes. So squeezing and releasing. This is what I'm doing in my shoe. So that's what I'm doing with my toes. And just getting a little bit of flexibility and movement in there. Okay, and then we'll start to point and flex the foot. So now we're getting some movement at the ankle. And as I said before, if you have some noise in there, generally noise without pain is going to be fine. It's just that joints get a little cranky. And the cooler weather can make them a little more noisy. And start to circle around at the ankle. And reverse your circles. And you might switch it up a couple of times. point, and then heel comes to the floor. Let's take the hands right alongside the hips once again. So sitting up nice and tall, pull your belly in a little bit. We're going to bend and extend that knee. All right. So listen for knee music. Sometimes there's a little bit. Bending and extending. A couple more. Good. And the next time that you bend, let's place the toes on the floor, and then we'll wiggle, slide, or cajole that foot back underneath you a little bit. And once you get your foot under the chair as far as it feels comfortable, press your heel down toward the floor and then relax. We'll do this several times, just pressing the heel down and relaxing, breathing in, breathing out. Okay. And then the next time you press your heel to the floor, let's hold here. Breathe in, breathe out. Take your left arm, sweep it up overhead. Now, once again, if you're dealing with an issue here with your shoulder, your elbow, your neck, get your arm up as high as it'll go. Maybe it's here, maybe it's here. So as high as it'll go. Breathe in, breathe out. So we're getting super long through the side of the body if we can. And as you're inhaling and exhaling, now we're going to lean into the right side and then come straight up. Keep pressing your left heel to the floor, right? So don't forget that part of it. You're pressing the heel to the floor. We're leaning into that right side, right? Yeah. Okay, sorry guys, I just lost my bearing left and right. How about two more times? Just leaning into that right side and then up. And last time, leaning into the right side and up. Excellent. And I'm going to release that arm, relax the leg, and just kind of hang out here for a breath. So just letting the muscles go, letting the leg stay in that position for a moment. And now we can take that leg and extend it out. Have your heel on the floor, and we're just going to rotate the whole leg in and out like a giant windshield wiper on that side. And again, the movement comes from way up here in the hip all the way down to the foot. So some movement happens in the hip joint, some movement happens in the ankle joint, and to a lesser degree, you get a little bit of rotation in the knee joint. The knee isn't just a hinge. We often think of the knee as just flexing and extending, but there's a little rotation in that knee as well. Not a lot. Not for helping me anyway. Next time that your foot is straight up, let's hold it here. Engage these muscles in your thigh to keep your knee nice and straight. Press out through your heel and pull your toes toward your shin. Sit up nice and tall, pull the navel in, hands alongside your body. You're going to lift and lower that heel without moving the upper body, right? So try not to lean back in your chair. Try not to keep your shoulders up here or let your back flex. You want to be as relaxed as you can in the upper body and slow and steady, lift and lower. And the next time that you lift, hold here. We're going to rotate this whole leg in and out just a couple of times. Again, this is really challenging. With the leg lifted, much more challenging than with the foot on the ground. Okay, we can do just two more times. Rotating that leg in and out. Beautiful. And then we're going to relax that and let it come all the way down. Relax the whole leg, bend your knee. Let's give a little massage to this leg. And don't forget the lower leg. So just down there and get that a little massage as well. Excellent. Okay. So sitting up nice and tall. Now bring your feet a little wider than your hips. So maybe the distance for those here in the room, about the distance of the chair legs. For you folks at home, it's maybe just a little slight bit wider than your heels. And you're sitting up nice and close to the front edge of your chair. Have your hands on your lap with your fingers facing in. We're going to do some work for the spine now. So we just got through sort of loosening up all the joints from the fingers all the way to the shoulders, from the toes all the way to the hips. And now we've got this beautiful spine that we want to get a little bit of rotation and a little bit of movement into. So start here by just dropping your chin to your chest. And then bring your forehead down toward the floor. So you can bend your elbows and come down. Try not to let your head get down between or below your knees. Breathe in, breathe out. And then press into your hands and come all the way up. And as you come up now, keeping your hands here, squeeze your shoulder blades together and arch your back a little bit. Lift your chin slightly. So that's the whole movement. So relax that, come forward, chin to the chest, forehead down toward the floor, bend the elbows, really round through your spine, and then slowly come up. Now your hands and your arms are doing a little bit of work here. So when you come forward, they're helping to support your body so that your back isn't doing all the work. And when you come up, if you press into your hands and straighten your arms as you arch your back, you're going to feel a little bit more ability to come up. Because once again, you're not doing all the work with the back muscles. We're doing some of the work here with the arm muscles. So this is flexion when we come forward and extension when we do that little bit of a back bend. Super important for the spine to get this flexion and extension, not just flexion. And then the next time that you come up, you come into that extended position. Let's hold here, but drop your chin to your chest. So the upper back is squeezing those shoulder blades together, chest is coming forward. Breathe in, breathe out. And then relax off. Roll the shoulders up and down a couple times. So just a note about flexion and extension. So flexion for the spine is that forward bending. And we spend a lot of time in flexion. You know, when we're sitting watching TV or doing something at the table, working on the computer, looking at the phone, doing all of those things, it always brings us into flexion. So extension is something we have to work a little bit harder at. We have to work to get the chest open, to kind of pull the shoulder blades back and down a little bit. And it's interesting because when we think about kind of the cycle of life, we start life in flexion, right? You've seen the little pictures of embryos developing, right? They're always in flexion. And as we get older, as we get a lot older, what happens? You start to go back into flexion. You start to get back into flexion. And part of that is the years and years of not paying attention to our posture. But the other part of it is that gravity is also pushing down on the top of your head, right? So as I'm sitting here, just sitting here talking to you guys, gravity is pushing down on my head. If I'm not in an alignment, so I'll turn sideways. So if I'm in alignment, gravity is pushing down into my head, and my spine hopefully is doing this. Again, gross exaggeration here, but my spine is negotiating that gravity all the time. If I'm out of alignment, so this is how I'm sitting, right? When gravity pushes down on my head, it's just a natural thing for my body to go into that position. So we kind of have to fight it a little bit. And by fight it, I mean we have to be aware of it and then consciously push up into gravity. Okay, so that's just forward bending and backward bending of flexion and extension. Now there's the side-to-side piece, right? Because your spine is 3 dimensions. So we're going to do the same thing. Have the feet a little wider than the hips and bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Breathe in, breathe out. And now see if you can bring your shoulder down toward your hip. So as close to your hip with your shoulder as you can get without twisting your body. And then come all the way up. Same thing on the other side. We're going to go very slowly, ear to shoulder first, and then shoulder to hip. And breathe in, breathe out, and come all the way up. So that's the whole movement. Let's see if we can go from side to side like this. Now, you can use your arms to support you a little bit. You could even have your hands on your legs. And as you go from side to side, you could push into your hands a little bit. The only thing you want to try to not do is to let your other sitting bone come up off the chair when you go to one side, right? So in other words, I don't want to come way over and lift that sitting bone off the chair. I keep the sitting bone on the chair so that I'm actually getting the benefit in my body, in my spine. And you might feel a difference. When you go to one side, it might feel like, oh, this feels easy and comfortable. And then the other side might be like, oh, this is some tightness in there. This discomfort. Breathing in, breathing out. Just a couple more of these. And then go to the other. Excellent. And then the next time that you come all the way up, we're just going to pause here for a moment. Just notice what you feel in your body, in your neck, your shoulders, sides of your body. So just like we did in when we were doing flexion and extension, forward bending and backward bending, we're working the spine in this direction. Now when we go side to side, we're working it in sort of that plane, right? So the last little bit of movement we're going to do here before we come up to standing is to have the hands on the thighs, sit up nice and tall, and then turn your head to the right as far as it'll go. Turn your shoulders to the right. Turn your rib cage to the right. Don't let your sitting bones slide, and twist around and then come all the way down. And do the same thing on the other side. So start with your head, then your shoulders, then your upper back, your chest, and then come all the way back. So breathing in and breathing out, we're just going from side to side. It's a nice, gentle movement. Inhaling and exhaling. And you might let your hands slide on your knees a little bit here. When I get all the way over to one side, I like to press my opposite hand into the opposite knee and give myself just a little assist on that final bit of the twist. Keep breathing. We'll go one more time on each side. So wherever you're at, whether you're going right or left, doesn't matter. Just one time on that side and then one time on the other side. And then we'll call it good. Great. So notice, let's close the eyes for a moment. Take a couple of breaths in and out. And I just want you to notice what you feel in your back and your spine, your ribs, your chest, your belly, your waist. And let's just scan the body. So starting at the head. So what do you feel in your head right now, your neck and shoulders? What do you feel in your arms, your elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, fingers, thumbs? What do you feel in the waist and the belly, the low back, the hips in the front, the sides and back? And what do you feel in your legs and knees, your lower legs, your ankles, your feet, your toes? Just being aware of all of these parts of your body. Take a breath in, let it go to the side. Keep your eyes open. Okay, so we're going to be coming up to standing. So for standing, you want to have your feet about hip width, maybe a little bit wider, with your toes angled just slightly out. So you don't want to be way out here, but just a slight angle out just gives you a little more real estate when you go to come up. Now, if you're heeled, if you get your heels a little bit behind your knees, in other words, you don't want your feet way out here, you want to have your heels behind your knees a little bit, have your hands on your thighs. You're going to lean forward. As you lean forward, keep coming forward as you're coming right toward me as you lift your backside up off the chair, and then slowly straighten your legs and come all the way up. Good. Let's come right around to the back of the chair. Back of the chair. All right, so our standing position here. Let's get into the standing piece of this first. So I'm going to move my chair to the side so you can see. So bring your feet about hip width distance. Now, for most of us, we have a preferred method of standing. So a lot of people stand with the feet really wide apart or really close together. One way to figure out what hip width is if you take your fist and bring it right down the center line of your body. So you're looking down and you want to be able to see your feet on either side of your fist. So if you actually did this, if you took your fist and placed it down on the floor between your feet, you could get your fist there. So if you've got a lot of space between your fist and a foot, it's a little too wide apart. If you can't see the insides of your shoes or your feet, you want to come a little farther apart. For most of us, this distance between the shoes for hip width is going to be anywhere between 3 and 6 inches. It depends on lots of things, the construct of your bones and all of that and the rest of your body. So once you've gotten that kind of figured out, notice where the weight is in your feet. Just notice where it is naturally. Is there more weight in one foot than the other? Is there more weight in the balls of your feet, like where your toes are, or in your heel? More weight on the inside or the outside of your feet. So you're just kind of noticing all of this stuff. So now press into your heels a little bit more. So for most of us, we're going to have to shift our weight back slightly. And that's why it's nice to have the chair just kind of give you a little support. Oh yeah, that's where I am in space. Press down into your heels and press into the outer edges of your feet. At the same time, press the bottoms of all your little toes right down into the floor. So not a scrunching of the toes, but a pressing down. Now in shoes, that can be a little bit harder because you're really working with the contour of the inside of the shoe. So maybe your shoe doesn't allow you to get that sensation of having the toes on the floor, and that's okay. That's sort of the intention. Everybody doing that? Is everybody breathing? That's the other piece, is to breathe. So we're pressing down into the heels, the outer edges, the bottoms of the toes, and at the same time lift up through your arches. Now to lift up through your arches, you need to activate these muscles here. That might sound weird, but your thigh muscles need to be strong in order to pull up on the arches. The other thing that you need to do is pull up on your pelvic floor. So the lowest part of your belly is pulling in and up. Now notice if you're breathing, right? So all of this can contribute to that. Okay, so where we are right now, we're pressing down equally and evenly into those heels, outer edges, bottoms of the toes, lifting up through the arches, breathing. And then shift your weight very slowly into your right leg, but still maintain that same connection in that right foot. As you do this, come up on the toes of your left foot and then turn your heel into that inside leg. Now notice if you've lost that whole connection of your foot to the floor. Pretty normal to do that. So let's do this. Let's put the foot back on the floor. Actually, let's shake out the legs a little bit. So now that you know where we're going with this. So hip width distance. I'm going to use my fist as a sight line. Press into the heels, the outer edges, the bottoms of the toes. Strengthen these muscles here and lift up through the arches. Breathe. Now, without losing that connection in the right foot, you're going to shift your weight into your right foot. Maintain that connection, holding onto the chair for a little bit of support. You're going to take this left heel right up to the ankle. Nice job. So breathing in, breathing out. Tree pose. So balance, right? So you might have two hands on your chair. You might have one hand on your chair. If you have a hand that you don't need to have on your chair for balance, take it up and breathe in and breathe out. If that's too much, you can have it down here. That works too. If that doesn't work either, put it right back on the chair. Keep breathing. Focus your gaze on something that's not moving. Maybe something on the floor in front of you. Notice your breath. If you want to try to challenge yourself a little bit more, maybe take the other hand up off the chair. Even if you just let it hover for a moment and then it goes back. If you want to go way up overhead, you can do that too. You can bring both arms up, out to the side. Keep breathing. Beautiful job. And then slowly, let's bring that foot right back down to the floor and we're going to shake out that right leg a little bit. Whew. So there's a lot to this. There's a lot to our balance. So let's set this up again for the other side. So I'm going to use my fist, sight line right down the center of the body. Getting the feet hip width distance apart. Press into the heels, outer edges, bottoms of the toes. Lift up through the arches. So again, quadriceps, thigh muscles, super strong, pulling up. Pelvic floor. So the pelvic floor, you can feel it somewhere below your belly button and above your pubic bone. You can kind of feel that pulling in and up a little bit. Try not to lift with your shoulders, right? Sometimes we do that. One hand on the chair. As we shift the weight now into the left foot, see if you can do that really seamlessly without changing or losing your connection as you come up on the toes of that right foot. Breathe in, breathe out. So both hands or one hand on the chair. If you have a free hand and you want to, not that you would have three, right? Because that, the way I just said that made it sound like we all have three hands. But if you do, use it that way. If you're like most of us with two, you're going to maybe have one on the chair and one up. Breathe in, breathe out. Now you can have that on way up overhead, or you can have it out to the side. Keep breathing. Focus on something that's not moving. So fix your gaze on a point in front of you. And if you'd like to try to challenge yourself by taking the other hand off the chair, even if it's only for a moment and that hand needs to go back down to give you some balance, that's okay. Don't lose your breath. Don't lose your visual connection with something. Good, that's beautiful, you guys. One more breath. And then slowly bringing the hands to the chair. Let's shift the weight. Oh, let's shake out the legs a little bit here. Great. Okay, so now that we've done the chair, I'm touching the chair and I'm trying to say tree. So now that we've done the tree and we've done some balance, let's work a little bit to strengthen. So once again, just kind of making that hip width distance calculation, the heels, the outer edges of the feet. We're going to shift the weight into the right leg again, really strong leg. We're going to bring the left leg out and down and out and down. Slow and steady. Try not to lean into that side too much. And the next time that you go out, we're going to hold here. See if you can bring it back behind you and tap your toe to the floor. And then you're going to come back around and down so y'all can see what I'm doing, right? I want to make sure you can see what I'm doing. So we're going back and top. See if you can keep your foot facing forward, right? Not like that, but like that. And down. Can we do this 2 more times? This is hard. So you got to squeeze the glutes a little bit here as you come back. And one more time. Up, back, touch. Good. Breathe. And down. Whew, holy moly. Shake out that right leg. Y'all still doing okay? Yeah? Okay. All right, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So once again, I'm going to square off my feet, heels, outer edges, bottoms of the toes. Lift up on the arches, nice and strong here through the thighs. Hands on the chair for a little bit of support. Shift the weight into the left side now. We're just going to go out and down. So watch that this foot doesn't turn out, because for some of us, it's going to want to turn out. We want to keep that foot facing forward because we're using the muscles out here. You should feel the muscles out there. Next time you're out, let's hold. We're going to go back and tap the foot on the floor. Come back around and down. This is challenging. So if it's a little too much, take a break. That's okay. Great. Breathe in, breathe out. You guys are doing great. Excellent. How about one more time? Back behind and back. Whew. All right, let's shake things out a little bit. So that works. That what we just did works many of the muscles around here in the hips. So if we have hip pain, or actually if you're recovering from hip surgery or something of that nature, this could be really helpful to get those muscles kind of back on track. So let's do a little bit of stretching. I'm going to stand this way just so you can see. So you're going to stand up nice and close to the chair. You can have your feet a little wide. It's not so important that you have that hip width here. We're going to shift the weight into the left foot this time and take your right foot, step it back and come up on your toe. So just on the toe, right? And now what we're going to do is we're going to bend this front knee as we bring that right heel down to the floor. And then come up on the toe and down to the floor. Now, if your heel doesn't touch, and you can see mine is not touching, I'm going to bring my foot in just a little bit so that when I bend this front knee, I can get that heel down. I still need to come in a little bit more. I'm not as stretched out on that side as I would like this morning. Here we go. Sorry for the squeaky shoe. Breathing in, breathing out. So that's all we're doing. We're bending this front knee and bringing that heel to the floor. Next time you bring your heel to the floor, let's hang out here. Breathe in, breathe out. Press that heel strongly toward the floor. This back knee, this right knee is straight. Front knee is bent. Hands are on the chair. Pull your chair back a little bit, especially if you're leaning forward. Just pull the chair back a little bit. And now we're going to keep that right heel on the floor as we give that right knee a little bit of a bend. Can you all see the bend in my knee? Can you see that through the pants? Okay. And then we're going to straighten that knee and bend. So you can see I'm bending and straightening my knee, but I'm not letting my heel come up and down from the floor. Next time you bend the knee, stay here and breathe. push your heel down a little bit more. Now, if your foot, I didn't mention this before, it shouldn't be angled like this. It should be straight, so your toes should be straight on. And what you should be feeling is a stretch way down near your heel, kind of in the bottom part of your lower leg. And then we're going to straighten that knee, come up on the toes, and switch sides. So we're just going to take the left foot, come back on the toes, bend that front knee, come down with the heel on the floor. And this is trial and error. You can see I got to do the same thing on this side. My foot is not quite where it needs to be. Just make sure that your back foot, the toes are facing forward and not out to the side, because that just stretches a different set of muscles. It's not wrong. We're just stretching a different set of muscles than what I'm trying to get at here. Let me turn this way so you can see. And the next time that your heel is on the floor, let's hold here. So once again, now left knee is straight. Heel is on the floor. Foot is facing forward. Right knee has a little bit of a bend to it. If you're leaning forward onto your chair, just slide the chair back a little bit so that you're standing upright. That's the whole purpose of that. Now, keeping the left heel on the floor, we're going to bend this knee and then straighten. I haven't mentioned breathing for a while, but you all are doing that, right? Yeah. So long, slow, deep breath. So the front knee stays bent. We're just bending and straightening that back knee. And then the next time that you bend that back knee, let's hold here. So we're pressing the heel into the floor, keeping both knees bent. And hopefully what you feel is that stretch comes down into the lower part of your lower leg, kind of close to where your heel is. With the knee bent, we're stretching a muscle that's very deep in that lower leg. It's different than when the knee is straight. Again, there's not a right or wrong. It's just what the intention is, what the targeted muscle is. And then let's straighten that knee a little bit and come up on the toes, straighten your front knee, and step your feet together. Okay. Standing for just a moment, just notice what you feel. Notice the right leg and the left leg. Okay, now from here, hands on your chair. And we're going to walk the feet back, lift your tailbone out behind you, and stretch forward. So I'm going to do this so you guys can see too. So we're coming this way. We're lifting the tailbone and we're stretching forward. Don't drop your head between your, below your elbows though. So if you're super flexible and you can do that, try not to do that this time. This is really about getting hamstring stretch, back of the legs, glutes, back, arms, shoulders. Breathe in, breathe out. So we're in this, it's like a nice right angle here. Next inhale, let's come all the way up and we're going to walk the feet forward to the chair. Great. All right, come on around to the front of your chair and stand with your feet a little wider than hip distance. Toes are slightly angled out, backs of your knees. I like to have the backs of my knees kind of touching the chair so I can feel where the chair is. We're going to do some squats. So I talk about quadriceps muscles, thigh muscles all the time, how important they are for maintaining mobility and strength. Also, as I've learned firsthand, super important for knee health. If your quadriceps aren't strong, your knee does not function the way that it should function, and that can create some pain, discomfort. That can create some problems in your hips as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the hands on the thighs, lift your tailbone up behind as you bend at the knees. Come down. We're just going to tap and then come up. We'll do that a couple of times, right? So breathing in, breathing out. Now, when you come up, right? So I tap, and then when you come up, I want you to really straighten the legs. So engage these muscles, and then bend. So we're using the full range of state in that muscle, right? So I can stretch it, and then I can really contract it. Next time you bend, we're going to hold here. Do a little bit of a hover. So try not to let your knees go out to the sides. You want to have your knees in a little bit. Breathing in, breathing out. Pull your belly in. And as you pull your belly in, you'll feel your tailbone doesn't stick out quite so far. Are you breathing? Yeah, is it a little harder to breathe now? Yeah, okay, good. It should be. We're going to shift the weight into the heels a little bit more. When you shift the weight into the heels, you'll feel it more in your thighs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly sit down without flopping. Holy moly. Let's give those thighs a little bit of a massage. Thank you, knees. Thank you, hips. Whew. Okay. So sit comfortably. So if you want to sit back into your chair, you can do that. If you'd like to sit forward, you can do that as well. Let your hands rest in a position that feels easy and comfortable for you. Think about your shoulders being positioned above your hips, so you're kind of in that same plane. And let your head just kind of relax. So it's like that nice water balloon kind of feeling on top of your shoulders. Relax your jaw, your neck. Relax the muscles around your eyes. Sometimes we're squinting or we're furrowing the brow. We're not even aware of all of that tension in the upper part of the face. And return your awareness to your breath, the air moving in and out. Notice as the air moves in and out through the nose, what is the temperature of the air that you're breathing in and the temperature of the air that you're breathing out. Are you breathing quickly or slowly? Is the breath shallow or deep? And do you notice any difference between how you're breathing now and the way you were breathing when you first checked in? Let each breath in and out become longer, slower. The inhales are deep and the exhales complete. Breathing in and breathing out. Notice what your body feels like right now. If you're working with something that's been painful or sore, just a little bit challenging, just notice if that feels different in this moment. And notice the activity in your mind, thoughts, the distraction. And finally come back to your breath, the air as it moves in and out. Take your right hand now and place it at your heart, and then cover your right hand with your left. Breathe into this space underneath your hand. Take in a deep breath and let it out with a sigh. Oh. Perhaps bringing your hands together, just taking a moment in gratitude to yourself for your wisdom, your light, your compassion, and eternal beauty. And then if you'd like, maybe just raising your eyes and acknowledging that same wisdom, light, compassion, and beauty all around for you. Yeah. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy this glorious weather out here, right? So, yeah, get out and enjoy that. And I'll see you all next week. Okay.
Thank you, Robin.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
week.
Thanks, Robin.
Everybody stay well.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.